The University of Southern Mississippi has created an all-new platform for campus groups and organizations to help organize and plan their activities easily.
There have been several changes since President Trump was installed for his new term, including changes to digital maps. More on this later.
Then coming up, understanding the cause of this serious allergy could save you from completely changing your diet.
Both basketball teams here at USM have been making waves. Gabe Calhoun will let you know later on just how far our Eagles have been soaring.
These stories plus your SMTV 6-day forecast and our first Eagle interview of the semester.
SMTV News for Thursday, February 13th starts now.
From the Chuck Scarborough Television Studio on the campus of the University of Southern Mississippi, this is SMTV News. News you can use.
Hello USM, thank you for joining us. I'm Kennedy Drake.
And I'm Gabby Cox.
And here are our top news stories for today. There are so many things happening on campus. The question that always arises is as to how do students keep up with everything going on?
Now with the new app, Eagle Hub, that question is answered. Reporter Kiera Fox has more on the topic.
With a constantly buzzing campus, do students find it difficult to stay updated on events? And do important opportunities slip through the cracks?
I think it is difficult to stay updated with campus events because it's always something going on and there's numerous organizations that's always having events and meetings around the same time, and so it's kind of difficult to stay updated with knowing things like that if you're not especially in the organizations. So I feel like an app would definitely just dead all the confusion and just lay it out there, and then it'll also help us students plan our schedules accordingly and our work schedules accordingly as well.
After students shared the problems they face with finding a convenient way to keep up with all of the many campus events, Student Affairs decided to solve their problem with Eagle Hub.
And it was created to help, well, essentially bring the student experience into the 21st century with digital tools that allow students to experience all that Southern Miss has to offer in person, but also on their mobile devices.
But part of it, as you put in your interest, as you find your groups, as you go to these events, you can start to accumulate badges. So I attended 10 events this semester, get a badge. Certain things you get rewarded for.
Through Eagle Hub, you can now discover yourself, find community, stay organized, and explore events from the convenience of your own phone. Kiera Fox, SMTV.
Thank you, Kiera. It sounds like having an Eagle app would make students be very convenient on the university. Now this next story, the College of Nursing and Health Professionals recently hosted its first research symposium, providing faculty members with a platform to showcase their research and discuss key issues in healthcare.
The event featured a keynote address from Dr. Charlene McNeil and included both oral and poster presentations. SMTV News reporter Nixranika Proquel attended the event.
The symposium focused on a variety of research topics, ranging from faculty perception of student writing to predicting coronary heart disease. The event aimed to highlight the importance of research in nursing and encourage collaboration among faculty. Dr. Charlene McNeil, the keynote speaker, emphasized the significance of research in advancing healthcare.
To me, research is important because it solves all the world's problems, and it allows us to take a look at things that are impacting us, our world, and our health, and solve those problems.
The symposium featured both oral and poster presentations. The oral sessions highlighted faculty research funded by external sources, while the poster presentations included research from all faculty members who submitted abstracts. Dr. Jennifer Lomax, Associate Dean for Research of the College of Nurse and Health Professionals, expressed pride in the faculty's contributions to research and emphasized its importance in advancing healthcare.
The College of Nursing and Health Professionals hope to make the Research Symposium an annual event.
And now the Hattiesburg community has several things to participate in to indulge in the culture and celebration of Black history.
That's right. One of these events is called Storytime with the Soldier. It's Black History Month, and at the African American Military History Museum in Hattiesburg, children pre-K through 2nd grade got the opportunity to meet and hear a story from an Air Force veteran.
I love the kids because they're like little sponges and they pick up on everything. And just watching them interact, doing this, throughout the story and the events that happen in the back with the 6888, them sorting mail and everything, just their enthusiasm about learning and about life. And I would just hope that they would keep that going forward, and that they would revisit the museum because the museum has a lot more to offer.
The children learned about the 6888 and got to sort the mail just like the ladies would. Finally, they toured the museum, took fun pictures, and learned more about Black history.
I am Black history. Yes, I am. I am my ancestors. I am everything they fought for. It's me. It's who I am. And it's about everything that they have contributed to American history and what I'm doing and the legacy that they left and passed on to me and what I'm passing on to future generations.
This event took place on February 7th. If you know any kids from pre-K through 2nd grade, they still have an opportunity to attend on February 21st at 10 a.m. This is one of the many events happening in Hattiesburg for Black History Month.
Spreading Black history education to the youth is always important, especially during Black History Month. Now, coming up next, the university hosted a forum spotlighting re-owned poet Ida Limon. Limon is the 24th poet laureate of the United States, as well as the first Latina woman to hold the title. She has published several poetry books, multiple of which have been awarded the National Books Critics Circle Award. At the forum, Limon hosted a poetry reading featuring a dozen of her poems that range from a piece NASA commissioned her to write to a poem about her family. Students were then able to ask her any questions they had. Many praised Limon for inspiring them to write poetry themselves. After the forum, there was a line out the door composed of students and university professors to get the chance to talk one-on-one with the poet laureate and get her signature.
Coming up on SMTV News, SM2 weather anchor Z is here to let you know if you'll be needing a coat or an umbrella for the weekend.
Plus, a deeper dive into the changes being made to Google Maps. Your SMTV 6-day forecast is coming up next.
I don't think I have ever seen like in U.S. media like this is how El Salvador celebrates Christmas.
There's a lot of great American holidays. Thanksgiving, Halloween, Arbor Day. But if I had to pick my number one, it would have to be Pi Day.
Right now it's about making sure those traditions are alive and we still get that happiness and I'll say more of nostalgia of what we miss back home.
Here we started celebrating it with the students and then we took some chance and we started celebrating it, and until now everyone loves celebrating it with us. So I think the community is a very good thing at USM.
Roy Howard Community Journalism Center, amplifying truth and combating false information across Southeast Mississippi, reporting what matters and giving control to the community. With our What is True hotline, we're fighting back against misinformation and disinformation, making sure our communities get the facts straight from the source. Through trusted journalism and a dedicated fact-checking process, we ensure every story is accurate and fair. The Roy Howard Community Journalism Center at the University of Southern Mississippi, reporting what matters through the Scripps Howard Foundation. Visit rhcjcnews.com.
Hello everybody, I'm Z Gary and here's your SMTV weather report. This week's weather has been pretty eventful, so let's dive right in. Yesterday, the USM campus was put under tornado warning. This warning fortunately didn't result in a tornado or any damage to campus. Moving into today's weather, we will see a high of 60 degrees today, coming in at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon with the low coming in at about 44 degrees later on in the night. So if you plan on getting your weekend started early, make sure you bundle up, USM. Now, into our 6-day weather forecast. Friday will begin in a similar forecast to today with a high of 66 and a low of 56. Now, taking a peek at the weekend, Saturday is going to bring us those spring-like temperatures, reaching a high of 81 and a low of 51. As for Sunday, there will be a drastic drop in temperatures, sending us back to those chilly numbers we've been seeing. The high for Sunday will be a 54 degrees and the low for Sunday will be below freezing at a 28 degrees, showing us that winter isn't over yet. Monday brings us at a high of 54 and a low of 31. And lastly, on Tuesday, the high will be 65 and a low of 49. There are fairly low precipitation chances for most of the weekend. Saturday and Sunday having the highest chances for rain at a 24% chance. Tuesday will have a similar conditions with a 23% chance. So make sure you have your umbrellas and raincoats ready. And thank you for joining me for the SMTV weather update. See you soon, Southern Mississippi.
I'll definitely be sure to bring a rain jacket with me for this weekend.
Thank you for the update, Z. Now, going along in the show, we have something very interesting next.
The United States has faced many changes already this year. One includes the name change of the Gulf of Mexico to now the Gulf of America. Stephanie Perez-Munez has more on this topic.
The Gulf of Mexico's name has been changed to the Gulf of America, which has caused outrage and confusion around the world. Dr. Matthew Casey explains more about the origin of the Gulf of Mexico's name.
Was the Aztec Empire. The people who lived in the Aztec Empire referred to themselves as the Mexica, and that's the origin of the name Mexico that we use today. And because that was such an important place for the Spaniards, that was a point of reference. And so that body of water that leads directly to this area, it was logical to call it the Gulf of Mexico.
Internationally, others outside of the United States may think of this as an inclusive deal.
People in Latin America often use the word America to refer not to the United States, but to every country in the hemisphere. And so if you leave the United States and you say America, people who are listening to you don't automatically think of the United States. If they're going to talk about the United States, they'll say the United States. And so by changing the name to the Gulf of America, some people who hear that might think of that as actually a more inclusive term and less about the United States than it probably was intended.
The U.S. Geographic Name System has yet to make the change. Until then, the name the Gulf of Mexico will remain. Stephanie Perez-Munez, SMTV.
Google Maps has officially changed the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America for the U.S. We still have an update for you on the basketball scene here at USM.
And then we've got a few events you'll want to put on your calendar. All of this and more.
Hi, I'm Leland Melvin, and I traveled to space twice as a NASA astronaut. Space technologies help protect our precious Earth. Space helps us monitor changes in carbon emissions, track the pace of climate change, yet even helps us fight natural disasters. Make sure that you get out to your local science museum or go to spaceforall.us to explore and learn about space and science. Space is for all.
The great thing about a hearing check? No one makes you drink weird stuff, or drills your teeth, or dilates your eyes. It's just soothing me time in a quiet booth. Then bam, you can do the happy dance, because you're all done.
Untreated hearing loss puts you at greater risk for depression and anxiety. So what's holding you back? Let's see a hearing professional and get those ears checked. And let's dance.
Welcome back, USM. Here is your community calendar update. Let's get right into it. Starting off crafty, from 4 to 5 p.m. today at the Oak Grove Library, there will be Origami Valentine. So here's a chance to better your origami skills. On Saturday, February 15th, there will be the local Forest County Farmers Market from 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. at 1200 Corin Street, so go get you some goodies. Finally, for freshman students, on Monday, February 17th, from 5:30 to 8 p.m., there will be cookies and conversations in designated freshman halls. This is a chance for the staff from Housing and Residence Life and campus partners to check in on students and hand out some sweet treats. Well, that's all I have for this community calendar update. I'm Stephanie Perez Munoz. See you next time, Southern Miss.
Thank you, Stephanie. I'm sure the farmers market will have a great turnout. Each week, SMTV News partners with the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center to bring you stories on a wide range of topics impacting people and communities in the Southeast Mississippi. The center is based in College Hall at the USM campus in Hattiesburg, with news bureaus at the USM Gulf Park campus in Long Beach and at the state capitol in Jackson.
This week, Mississippi researchers are investigating a growing tick-borne allergy to red meat. The condition is known as alpha-gal syndrome. It can trigger severe reactions, and for one man, it turned his daily meals into a dangerous gamble. Rick Green was spending the day with his family when he suddenly broke into hives. At first, he didn't know what was happening.
I had it. It was here, then up here, and then my waistband. Anywhere I had tight clothing on, it started itching, and then my whole head started itching.
At the time, alpha-gal syndrome was virtually unheard of.
I went and made an appointment with the doctor, and I told him, I said, I think I'm allergic to beef because of a tick bite. And he goes, I've never heard of that. None of the doctors had ever heard of it.
But today, cases are on a rise across the country. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention now estimates hundreds of thousands of cases nationwide. The culprit? A bite from the Lone Star tick. Dr. Shahid Kareem, a tick researcher at the University of Southern Mississippi, has studied the syndrome for nearly a decade. He explains alpha-gal is a complex sugar found in non-primate mammals like cows, pigs, and sheep. Since humans don't naturally produce it, the immune system can react aggressively after exposure.
So if you even sitting in a restaurant and even the fumes from that grill, I mean, they can contain the alpha-gal. And if someone is allergic, it will get that allergic reaction to that one.
For Green, the allergy forced a major shift in his lifestyle.
It would affect if I went to like a party, a family reunion, and they'd have slabs of roast beef, which I would have liked to have had.
Avoiding red meat became essential for nearly a decade before his allergic reactions started to subside.
It will go away. It takes a while, and to explore some alternative diets.
While researchers say alpha-gal syndrome may fade over time, there is currently no cure. I'm Kennedi Drake, reporting for the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center. As cases rise, lawmakers are taking action. In August 2024, a U.S. representative in New Jersey introduced a bill that would require packaged foods containing alpha-gal to be clearly labeled. This is a move to help those affected by the condition to avoid dangerous reactions.
Coming up next in sports, a recap of USM's most recent basketball games.
SMTV Sports is next. Don't go anywhere.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind.
You can just keep watching and scrolling, and the world will still feel like it's falling apart. Or you can take action by joining a movement that's creating lasting change instead. Because at World Vision, we believe that no situation is hopeless. Join a movement that's changing the world for good.
What's going on, Golden Eagles? I'm Gabe Calhoun, your SMTV sports anchor. We have a loaded sports segment for y'all, so let's get right into it. Starting off with some basketball. Our Golden Eagles went on the road to face the Ball State Cardinals. The Golden Eagles narrowly lost this one with the final score of 77-76. But they didn't go out quiet, guys, as they dished the rock 25 times for 25 assists on the night. The Southern Miss Eagles will face ULM this Saturday in Monroe. The game will be streamed on ESPN Plus for those who can attend. As for our ladies, this past Saturday was their senior night, as they took on the Ohio Bobcats in the Sun Belt versus MAC Challenge. There was not much challenge for the ladies, as the Eagles were on fire from opening tip and never wavered and went on to win 58-46. Their next game will be this Saturday in Troy, Alabama, as they take on the Lady Trojans at 3:30. Digging into the diamond, the USM ladies softball season is here. The Eagles traveled to Clearwater for 5 tough games over the weekend. The ladies will end up 1-4, with that lone win coming against conference foe Marshall with a score of 6-2. For your SMTV Player of the Week, it goes up to the entire women's basketball team, as despite all the emotions for Senior Day, they balled out, going 31.8% from beyond the arc. Almost perfect at the charity stripe as well, shooting 13 of 14. Way to go, ladies. This has been your SMTV Sports Report. I'm Gabe Calhoun. Until next time, Southern Miss to the top.
Thanks for the rundown, Gabe. Up next on SMTV News.
Get an inside scoop on the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center. SMTV's Kaylin Moran has the details in SMTV Eagle Interview.
You can just keep watching and scrolling, and the world will still feel like it's falling apart. Or you can take action by joining a movement that's creating lasting change instead. Because at World Vision, we believe that no situation is hopeless. Join a movement that's changing the world for good.
I'll be here to hear what's on your mind. Take this time to talk and get it right. You know I'll be there all your life. When you need me, I'll be by your side. By your side. And every day is a different day. Everything is in everything. Even when you think things could never ever be the same. Don't be scared of the world, I'll be here to stay. By your side. Even when your heart ain't listening, or your mind takes you a different way, towards a different path. All you gotta do is sit and ask. When you need me, I'll be by your side.
When the adults in a child's life talk early and often about the dangers of underage drinking, the message gets stronger every time.
This week's interview features the director of the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center.
Here is the weekly Eagle Interview.
Golden Eagles, welcome to Eagle Interview. I'm your host, Kaylin Moran, and today we have a very special guest. She's the director of the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center, Miss Nicole Cyprin. Hi, thank you so much for sitting down with me today. Absolutely. It's so lovely to have you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course, of course. So just to jump in a little bit, what is the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center, and who is Roy Howard?
Okay, so I'll start a little bit first with Roy Howard, pioneering journalist. He covered both world wars, has covered international, national news. He was the chairman of the Scripps Howard newspapers. He was a bold journalist. He was someone who really understood the power of words and the power of journalism. The foundation, the Scripps Howard Foundation, has taken that same mission of its namesake and opened 3 different centers. There is a Howard Center for Investigative Journalism at Arizona State. There is a Howard Center for Data Journalism at the University of Maryland. And then we have the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center here at Southern Miss, the first of its kind. So what we do is essentially like threefold mission. For one thing, we want to make sure that essentially we are correcting what you can call a news desert in Southeast Mississippi. A news desert means that there is either no local news or limited local news in that area. So for example, you have TV stations, right? You have newspapers, but we're in 2025, inflation is a thing. Staffing at a lot of these newspapers and TV stations isn't what it used to be. Resources aren't what they used to be. So the coverage of a lot of community events, a lot of community stories, news that used to be covered, you know, 30, 40, 50 years ago, sometimes goes unreported. That's one of the things that we at the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center want to help improve, particularly in Southeast Mississippi, where you might only have one or two TV news outlets, maybe a handful of newspaper outlets that are running and gunning with very limited staff and resources. We do that work with our students, and that's the second part of our mission, is that we want students here at Southern Miss and across Mississippi to get the experience of covering real news out in the field, and being able to have their work published and broadcast to be able to grow their own portfolios.
Anybody who's just interested in reading material from the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center, where can they go to find these stories, to learn more about the history of the Journalism Center? Where can they go to apply for such positions like you said?
Yeah, our website, rhcjcnews.com, is the best place to go. That's where you'll find information about, you know, our news literacy, our media literacy events. We have one coming up on the 28th. That'll be right here in the USM's library, and I'll get you more information on that. But that's where you can find information about our events. That's where you can find all of our news stories that all of our students have done. We produce news stories every Monday. And then, of course, we're updating stories as we go throughout the week. So all of our students, they have a byline. So if they have contributed to that story, their name is on that story. Their picture is on our website. They have a portfolio through our website. You can go and read about all the students and read about our staff in the About Us section where we have all of their profiles. You can also find out any information that you'd like to about you know, what we have coming up with What Is True. All the investigations that we've done with that. We've done a few investigations that have been sent to us. Things that came through text message, things that were posted to Nextdoor, local questions, national questions from, you know, dealing with President Trump all the way down to, you know, we're hearing rumors that this is going on. You know, when we investigate something, we post it to our website, we post it to our social media feeds. So I encourage everyone to follow us, to check out our website again, rhcjcnews.com, and see what we do.
Well, thank you so much again for sitting down with me. This has been so amazing to just sit and learn about, you know, the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center. And I'm so excited to see where it goes in the future.
Yeah, thank you, Caitlin. I appreciate it.
And thank you again. And thank you so much, Golden Eagles, for sitting down with us today. We'll see you next time.
You can watch the full interview on our website, sm2media.com. I am so excited for Valentine's Day. What about you, Kennedy?
Gabby, I am thrilled for Valentine's Day, and I'm going to get my mom and my grandmother an awesome gift.
Oh, that sounds so nice. I love Valentine's Day. It's definitely one of my favorite holidays.
Of course, and a lot of people here at USM. Well, that wraps up this show. Thank you so much for watching SMTV News. Make sure to follow, like, and subscribe to Southern Miss Student Media. You can also find us on Instagram at sm2media.com. If you would like to submit a news tip, email us at, again, sm2media.com.
Remember to pick up the latest copy of the Student Prince, newspaper available on campus at all locations across Hattiesburg. And don't forget, you can get SMTV News on demand, additional SMT programs, and USM Radio anytime on our website. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on our next newscast. I'm Gabby Cox.
And I'm Kennedy Drake. Always remember, Southern Miss to the top.